Why are 90% of people losing money trading though?
Because they simply do not understand how to hold their hands. They just want to feel involved. 99% of traders lose money. It's because of their self-thoughts. It's not because of a strategy. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have the proper mindset to control that execution of that strategy at the right time, you're not doing anything.
At 24, he's gone from pouring coffee to mastering the Forex markets, now teaching thousands how to trade and win. The mindset, the strategy, the story behind the charts. Today's guest on the Frankie podcast is Alex Gonzalez.
Give people a bit of an insider's journey.
Like, we weren't down, but we were average. Never Bugattis, never jets, never the lifestyle that I'm living now. And I wanted all these big things, but obviously working the regular system is not gonna get you that. And I can go into the market and risk 20% of my account, and I will literally go into the grocery store and you won't even know that I just lost $500,000. You have to learn who you are as a trader and how much risk appetite you have. I just worked a whole entire week to pay off this red light ticket. This shit is not gonna make sense. So then from that moment forward, I kind of had this mindset that I had to change in order for me to actually start making money to live the life that I want in a different way that's not working.
Your best piece of advice, what would that be?
Some people are not in the best financial situation and they want to become a millionaire this year. Be realistic. You don't know a skill set. You're not going to become a millionaire this year, even if you have the best mindset. But a lot of people.
And we are back, and today, guys, I'm absolutely buzzed to be joined by this trader and entrepreneur, the man himself, Alex G. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on. Thank
Mate,
you.
I'm buzzing for this one because I'm going to absolutely make you cook on a new level of podcasting, I tell you today.
I'm ready for it. I haven't done a podcast probably in like 6 to 8 months, so I'm very stoked.
You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Mate, I think the best place for us to start is to give people a bit of an insider's journey. Obviously, anybody can search on social media and see the flamboyancy of all the stuff that you got, you know, the Bugattis and the cars and the jets and all the stuff. But let's just bring it back to obviously where you began, and obviously your family came from Cuba, they came to Miami. Give us a bit of an insight into that.
Yeah, so my parents were born and raised in Cuba, you know, like the classic Miami story for the 90% of the people from Miami. And my dad came to Miami late 80s on a raft. He left Cuba from this little harbor from there one time at night. 6 of his friends, literally old school, paddle way out. Probably 7 days at sea, made it to the beach here. Obviously did through the whole system. My mom did the same thing. They met here, had me. And we were raised in a very average household. You know, we weren't wealthy, we weren't poor. Both of my parents had very good paying jobs in the early days. And towards around 2010, my dad opened up a business which was doing well for the time, which kind of put us on a little bit better of a average household. Like, we all had decent cars. We all had we could go on a vacation once a month. We can go out to a basic restaurant, you know, like we weren't down, but we were average. Never Bugattis, never jets, never the lifestyle that I'm living now. Obviously, it's very different. But my dad, to me, was probably one of the guys that was what led me to where I am today, because he is a very old school guy that just thinks about all you got to do is work, work, and work. There's no other solution to life to be successful. It's just work. He doesn't believe in innovation, doesn't believe in creating a system, doesn't believe in creating a product, doesn't believe in any of that. He just thinks work, money. He doesn't think there's any other way to make money. And that obviously was a very limiting belief of him, and it was where we kind of crash heads all the time, and he didn't believe in me doing something different aside from just working to make money. So I kind of just did what he told me to do. I went to Dunkin' Donuts. I got multiple different jobs where on the early days I was just working to make money because that's what I had to do to make money according to my dad, right? Like, that's the only way to make money. And obviously, you know, when you're working at Dunkin' Donuts, you're making $9 an hour. You know, that's not fun, right?
It's not the future.
It's really not going to get you a Lamborghini. It's not going to get you a big house. And I wanted all these big things, but obviously working the regular system is not going to get you that. And the day that it hit me was that I got a paycheck for $158 from Dunkin' Donuts. I think I'd only worked like 2 days out of that week. And that same day in the mail, I got a red light ticket for $158 because I took a red light that they're automatic and they send them right to your house. And I remember that I'm like, wow, I just worked a whole entire week to pay off this red light ticket. This shit is not gonna make sense. So then from that moment forward, I kind of had this mindset that I had to change in order for me to actually start making money to live the life that I want in a different way that's not working. That's when I got into how to make money online and figuring out how to make money without having to put time into something. I want to learn the skill set that can actually make me that money. And that has, been this never-ending journey that we're in today.
What do you find is the whole Cuban mentality to life though? Like your dad just wanted you to just constantly swap time for money, time for money, time for money. Is that the whole Cuban ethos? Yeah,
the whole Cuban mindset is very old school. Everything in Cuba is stuck in the 1960s, 1950s, and the only way that you can actually get something in Cuba is if you go work for it. You have to go out and you have to hustle. You have to figure out a way how you're gonna get something by you going out to go get it. There's no creativity in Cuba. There's no way for you to prosper. You're not gonna be able to build something. It's just not gonna happen. And that's just been a mindset that's been engraved over the last almost 80 years of these Cubans dealing with the communism and dealing with the depression that they're being put through. So it just kind of sticks because they're scared of taking risks. They're scared of doing something different. So the only way for you to get something is if just you work. There's no other way.
Do you think the biggest gift that your dad gave you was the ability to be in America right now and the opportunity and the abundance that gives you?
I think the biggest gift that he gave me is not believing in me. He didn't believe in me that I was going to be who I am. He didn't believe in me that I was going to succeed to the level that I have succeeded. And I feel like that's what pushed me to wanting more. And even now at this point, like I'll lend him my Lambo for a weekend. He still doesn't believe it. He doesn't think it's real. He doesn't think it's going to last. Obviously, because I'm his little boy. He doesn't understand that the amount of success I've achieved. Like he doesn't even know how much money I make. He just sees all the stuff and he's like, oh, he's going to get rid of it next week, next month. He's not going to last forever. He just doesn't understand. He doesn't grasp that I have a car payment that's $70,000. He just doesn't understand that. He never will. Yeah. And I'm not going to change that mindset in him because there's just no changing that. And I don't want to go back and forth with him. But him not believing in me led me to want to show him what is possible.
Does he understand that you've changed the whole family lineage with what you've done?
He does, yeah. But he doesn't believe. He doesn't understand. He doesn't know how wealthy I am. He really has no idea. And I don't want him to know because I don't want him to bring more of that negativity towards me. Right now, we've built a good bond over the last year, I would say, because he's kind of just accepted who I've become. And I don't want to ruin that for now.
I think it must be hard, though, for him as a toughened Cuban guy, having seen what he's seen in life, to accept that his son's now generating money beyond all realms of reality that he's seen.
Bro, you go on Google right now and you search up old school Cuban dad, and a picture of him is going to pop up. Mustache, cigar, open up, shirt, gold chain, sitting playing dominoes. That's my dad. Yeah. So he is not going to understand this new shit that's going on.
When you were obviously at the point where you're at Dunkin' Donuts, you're looking at that paycheck, you now start searching how to make money online, how to generate money, how to generate cash flow. What were some of the options that were on the table to you at the time, and what ultimately made you pick trading?
So I actually started off with drop shipping, right? Because it was just the most logical business model. You buy something for $10, you buy enough of it, you get it for maybe $8, $9, you put it online for $12. It just makes sense. It's a profitable business model. Started off with that. But the way that I got introduced to it is that you needed some type of money to actually buy all these products. You needed a credit card with some type of limits in order for you to buy enough quantity of products so you could get a better price point. And as I was getting involved in it, I'm like, bro, I don't have $10,000 to throw into this right now to get a good price so where I actually make a margin and profit. So I probably dabbled with that for 2-3 months. That didn't make me any money. After that, I got into rental arbitrage, so Airbnb arbitrage, where you would go to spots like this, you would sublease it, you would just rent it out for a year, and then you would do Airbnb on the daily. And I studied for that probably for 3 months. I studied the laws, I created the systems, I hired the ladies, the cleaning ladies, I got I did everything to build the system for it, but I was finding the right unit. When it came to the time to sign the year lease with the right unit, I'm 20 years old, I'm 19 years old. No landlord is gonna sign me a year lease when I have no bank statements, when I have no credit, when I have no history to me. So everything was good up until the point where I actually had to go get this property and sign the lease so I can sublease it out. I tried to get one of my cousins to sign for me, they didn't do it. I tried to get my mom, my dad to do it, they didn't do it. So I was kind of just left with no option that I'm not able to do it because I can't actually sign a lease. I'm not able to get this property to sublease it. Then after that, I got into trading, but I got into trading with stocks. Right? Because stocks is like the most regulated thing. After dabbling with stocks a little bit, you need a minimum of $25,000 to open up a decent stock account with a proper brokerage or platform, whatever it is. I didn't have 25 grand. And then Trading Forex came around with these IML events. So these like multi-level marketing events.
Yeah, IML, yeah.
And one of my friends was like posting these stories that he was at these like events where there's like 10,000 people. They're out shouting. I'm like, yo, we're all millionaires. And I'm like, all right, bro, let's see what this is about. I went to one of those events. I got sold on the product. It was $200 a month, $250 a month, whatever. And obviously after about 30 days, I realized I'm not going to teach you trading, but I understood that you can get involved into trading currencies with just $100. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I can just start with $100 and make $200, $300, $400. They're like, yeah. I learned that the multi-level marketing is not the way to go. I left that, and then I just started dabbling on how to trade currencies. Went into YouTube probably for 2.5 years on endless rabbit holes. And after 2.5 years, I figured out a system that worked, where it got me to the point where I am now.
What was the system you ultimately figured that allowed you to transcend you having to, you know, trade the stocks, having the gaps, having the market opens, market closes, the difference is, you know what I mean? I imagine Forex was because the market was open the whole time, right?
Yeah, so the big difference in between the currency market and the stock market is that it's open 24/5, and the entry barrier is a lot smaller. So you could start with even $10 if you wanted to. Some platforms that you take your first trade with just $10. But where it really did it for me was that you're actually able to trade 24/5, right? At the beginning, that is cool because like, okay, I can have my job, I can work my 9 to 5, and then I can trade in the afternoon or I can trade at night. That was very attractive because the stock market, you have to just trade 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. If I have a job, I can't be trading the stock market. Let me go trade the currency market, which ultimately was not good. That I actually entered the currency market with that mindset that, okay, I'm going to trade when I want, not when the markets give me the opportunity, because the times that the market were available to me was when the markets actually moved the worst. So yes, the market is open 24/5, but there's about a 8-hour range to 10-hour range that the markets simply don't do anything. They're just standstill. They're open, you can go take a trade, but the volatility is very low and the opportunity for you to catch a good trade is not that high. And the cost to trade in those times are also more expensive. But obviously I didn't know that at the beginning. You know, you end up learning this after you get involved after a while. So it was very attractive at the beginning because I could trade when I wanted, but trading when I wanted was not going to make me profitable. It's creating the system. The system consists of following the trend, buying or selling at a strong support or resistance level, and then having an entry signal. It sounds very simple now, but that took me about 2.5 years to really figure out.
Because it's all about risk management as well, isn't it? Because, you know, what they say, 2% per trade. Mm-hmm. But I know that you've done other things where you're turning $100 into $1 million, yeah, and you're trading 100% per trade. So like, and obviously you're doing that later down the track when you've already learnt the system. So if you were to break down the basic system for someone today who's watching this for the first time, they've never done trading before, but they want to start, like, how would you set it up from the beginning?
It would start off, you need to understand that it's not you versus the market. It's you versus you. The market is not going to click buy or sell on your phone. You're the one that's going to be tempted because you're going to think that you see something on the market that makes sense and you're going to go and click that button. Before you go click that button, you need to ask yourself a series of like 10 different questions. It's like, is this properly having a right trend? Is this at an area of interest? Does this meet the strategy? Am I in the session? Is the risk to reward making sense? There's just so many things that factor into the actual point of executing a trade that traders don't ask themselves those questions. So the first thing is, when you're ready to enter a trade, don't do it. Ask yourselves many series of questions before you enter. Is this a logical trade? Am I looking to make back some profits that I lost yesterday? Am I looking just to be involved because I have to leave work in 5 minutes and this is the only window I have to take a trade? All of these things factor greatly into the result of that trade. If you remove all of these external things and you only focus on entering a trade based off of what a trade is, 90% of people will make so much more money because they make it about the market and they don't make it about themselves. You have to take a trade when the trade is ready, not when you're ready. And trades can take 2-3 days to be ready. Last week, I took 0 trades. There's some weeks where you don't take trades. There's some weeks where you take a lot of trades. But the basis of it is taking a trade based off of what the market is telling you, not what you think that you're reading off of the market. It has to be something that is plain obvious in front of you.
One of my mates, Lloyd, I watched him for years, like playing around on different charts, making trades. Sometimes I even thought he was trading too much.
Yeah.
And then he started to like just trade the Bitcoin chart and just swing trade and just take, you know, just wait for the setups that he's predetermined. That setup is his setup, and he's only trading these type of setups, and then he'd just take action on those. And then the difference is like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars difference between losing thousands of dollars and now hundreds and hundreds of thousands in profit, just because if the setup's not there, even if it's not there for like 7 days, you're not going to take it. But that patience, I feel like you can't teach that. You have to live it.
Yeah, it's very difficult for you to explain to somebody that you're going to make more money if you do nothing. Just don't trade and you're going to make more money. That just doesn't make sense, because the average person is used to, you're going to make more money if you go work overtime. You go work overtime, you work more, you get paid more. But in this industry, the less you do, the more you make. It's very confusing for some people to just sit on their hands and just wait for the market to do its thing. They just don't understand. That's something that it took me probably 8 months of solidly just sitting on my hands before I entered a trade, when I entered a trade, and after I entered a trade. Because once you enter a trade, you feel like you're the king of the world, and then you want to go do that again.
So you're chasing that high, because I suppose it's a high, isn't it, when you're putting so much money on the line? How did you originally build up your money base to be able to take the kind of trades you are now? Like how was the initial period done?
So at the beginning I lost a lot of money. I lost about like $30,000, and it was some of my dad's money, because I was getting him to like convince me, give me a little bit of money, but he didn't really know what it was going towards. I told him that I was just gonna invest into stuff, but he didn't really care. So I lost about $30,000 in the first 2.5 years. But then after that, once I figured out a system, I came across this thing called prop firms. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
So these prop firms, they basically give you an evaluation process. Once you pass the evaluation process, you get funded 50, 100K, 200, 300K, and then you keep 70% of it. So the challenge costs about $500, and then you could get access to a 100K account. It took me about 30 different tries, 40 different tries before I actually passed and got a payout. My first payout was for like $20,000. And then from that moment forward, I put the money into my personal account, and I start risking more than the traditional 1-2%. I'm risking 5, 6, 7% on my personal account. And that's how I started scaling over time.
So to break down this funded accounts whole thesis, because I know some of it is legitimate and some of it is a scam. And I want this audience to understand like where to look when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, so prop firms are big on just data. So I guess it is a scam, because they're not going to back your position 100%. It's just not going to happen. They would need so much more money than what they have to back your position.
Right, okay.
But what they do is they make calculated risks. Like they have margin accounts that, let's say you go place a trade with a 1 lot, for example. They have systems that will analyze that trade and be like, okay, you know what? This trade is actually worth a 5 lot. So they're taking the trade with you, but not just as much. Or they're like, you know what? This trade is great. It's actually a 1.5 lot. So they're trading with you, but not at the same volume that you are, just because they have the systems that will determine if that trade makes sense or not. Because they have data, not only from just you as one trader, but from hundreds of thousands of different traders that are actively trading on that platform. So prop firms use that data for themselves to create strategies. They use that data to then sell it to other platforms. You can sell it to brokers. You can sell it to people that want to create algorithms. And that's data that other people can capitalize off of it. So prop firms are a front-end program for data, and a great as a business model is just data. For traders, it's an opportunity to get some capital. You're not necessarily getting access to $100,000, because if your stop loss is $10,000 on the account, why would you even get the whole 100,000 to even start with? So it's an opportunity for traders to make money and for them to learn how to properly follow rules, because if you don't follow rules, you fail. And it's a great opportunity for business owners for them to get all this data and create profitable strategies from it. It really is a win-win situation. But the problem is that a lot of the founders of some of these companies, one, they're not qualified founders to be part of a company like this. They don't know how to operate. And what they do is they don't end up capitalizing off of the data. They'll get all of the sign-up money and they'll just pocket it and hope that people fail. And some people would never create profitable strategies with this data from traders. So they're just coming out from the sign-up money, paying people back, and then they end up being negative. But that's not the proper way to run the business. That's why so many of these failed, because every micro influencer in trading thought they can operate one of these businesses just because they have a micro following, and that's not how this business model works.
Yeah, because a lot of them got found out, didn't they? They're in the trading space, a lot of them got caught taking other sides of the trade off the back of the book as well, right?
Yeah. And they just never did nothing. They would just offer a demo account and they would never do anything with the data. They would just simply just keep the signed up money and hope they would fail.
But do some prop firms say you place a trade on, I believe that, pound versus USD is going this way and I put this amount on. I'm just keeping it super simple. And
like trading against the trader?
And they trade against me on the back of the book?
Maybe some have, yeah, for sure. But like they would have to create that. You can't do that manually. There's no way.
Yeah,
it's impossible. Like if you have 100 traders, it's just so fast. There's just no way. You have to have a system. So even for people that do that, they have to create a system for that. Yeah, and it's very hard to do that.
But you're saying that the best market you think there is to operate in then is the Forex market.
It's just simply truth. The currency market is the one that has the most volatility. It's a $6.7 trillion market compared to the stock market. I think it's a couple $1 billion. There's just more volatility in the currency market. It's available 24/5, so you technically have more availability, even though at some sessions there's not a lot of volume. You're able to have higher leverage. So in the stock market, your leverage is cut very short. I think it's maybe a 1 to 10, 1 to 20. In the currency market, you could have up to a 1 to 1,000. So your $100 could have a buying power of almost $100,000.
It's crazy.
You're able to do a lot more with your money. The entry barrier is a lot less. You can start off with $10 if you wanted to just get started. You can actually make a shit ton of money with just a couple $100, and everything can also be completely decentralized. You could be trading on an offshore broker. You could be trading on crypto and you make the money back in crypto. It doesn't have to go straight back into your bank account. Like there's just so many different ways to do this that it makes more sense than trading the stock market.
Why are 90% of people losing money trading though?
Because they simply do not understand how to hold their hands. They just want to feel involved. They feel just because they're in front of the markets for 9 hours looking at the charts that the market owes them a trade. They feel just because they've been studying that as soon as they finish studying, they're gonna go find an opportunity in the market. Just because they deposited money into an account that they go have to take a trade right away. 99% of traders lose money. It's because of their self-thoughts. It's not because of a strategy. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have the proper mindset to control that execution of that strategy at the right time, you're not doing anything.
So do you have when you write your rules down, do you have them by the computer so you see them straight in front of you visually?
Yeah.
So you've got the chart here and then the rules are there and that's the rules. If I'm going to take this trade, it has to go, it has to match this.
I have a checklist. I mean, I compare this all the time to, let's say real estate, right? Let's say you're a real estate investor, and as a real estate investor, there's many different types. You can be either construction, you can be multifamily, you can be housing, you can be apartment building, you can be commercial. There's many different types of real estate investors. There's many different types of traders. We can be a scalper, day trader, swing trader, intraday trader, long-term investor. They're all different. So you gotta know where you are in that realm. First thing is to understand that, because then you know where to go look at. Because I'm not gonna be a real estate investor and I'm just gonna now look at all these different markets, because my strategy for real estate investing won't make sense as a developer as if it were to be for multifamily. And multifamily won't make sense for single family homes. You have to pick which one you are. That's the first thing. 99% of traders go into the market not knowing which one they are, and they're just investing in all these different types. So they're already losing money and making the wrong decision because they don't know which one they are. After that, once you find which one you are, if you're multifamily, for example, okay, how big do I go multifamily? Do I go 4 to 8 units, 8 to 16, 16 to 40, 40 to 100? You need to know where you are based off of your experience, based off of your access to money, based off of where this is located, based off of the cash flow. What is the goal? Is there, like, there's just so much that goes into real estate investing with the type that you're in now, right? How big of a scale, where is it gonna be located? And it's the same exact thing in trading. Now that you understand that you're a day trader, okay, what type of market should you be looking to day trade? What sessions should you be looking to day trade? How aggressive, like everything factors into it just to understand where you're gonna implement the strategy. Everything that I've spoken of to right now has zero context about a strategy. It's just you're knowing who you are as an investor, you're knowing who you are as a trader, and 99% of traders don't know any of this about themselves. They just go in and wanna click buy or sell and think they're gonna make money, and they're not.
So it's about you doing the inside work to understand who you are before you even step into the arena of learning how to trade.
Yeah, like for me, I'm a very aggressive trader. I can go into the market and risk 20% of my account, and I will literally go then to the grocery store and you won't even know that I just lost $500,000. But that's me. But somebody can have $500,000 in an account and they'll lose $5,000 and they're going crazy. They're mad all day. You have to learn who you are as a trader and how much risk appetite you have. I'm extremely aggressive and I know that, and I figure out ways how to capitalize off of that.
Is that something you just learn by taking the risk, or is it something you can assess before you even start doing it?
So it's something that just goes in you as a person over time. Like I've just been a very high risk person my whole entire life. Like I like taking risk. I believe in taking risk.
What's the biggest risk you've taken this week?
This week, zero. I haven't taken any risks this week. Like I have not taken any trades. Last week, I took a $300,000 position and I made about $415,000 last week. Yeah. And then the week before that, I was going to risk about 200 on a position, which would have made me like 600,000, but I never ended up entering the trade. And 3 weeks before that, I lost 800,000 in like a whole month. I was in a whole losing streak for a month.
On that trade that you didn't take for 200,000 that would have netted you 600,000, what was the key thing that made you not take that trade that day?
So this is when the tariff talks were going on and the markets were very volatile. And when the markets are very volatile, some people think that that's good. And it is to a certain extent, but at least the way that I trade, I tend to have bigger stops. I tend to have bigger take profits, and my trades take a little bit longer to play out. So when you have all of these crazy tariff talks, 100%, 200% on all these different countries have currencies that affects the market. Like you can't even, like this is like major, like I'm talking about like 500 points up and down within the hour, which is unheard of. This is like COVID days when this used to happen. So I didn't enter that position because tariff talks were in the air and I didn't want to be involved. So that the trade was USD CAD, right? So I was going to be selling USD CAD and Trump was talking about tariffs on the Canadian dollar. And I just didn't want to be involved in that position because I didn't want to get spiked out. I had already gotten spiked out for a whole month before on this market. And I was just being very conservative on it and I decided not to take it. A lot of people that like follow me because I posted all the time, they took it. I didn't take it, but I don't really care.
Because I suppose there's a certain amount of volatility that you want in order for the market to move so you can take profits, but you don't want the volatility that you're talking about where it wicks up and stops you out one way or the other, right?
No, I want for the markets to just do their thing. Move normally. I don't want major moves. I'm not an investor, right? An investor wants major moves because it's going to create a P&L on his chart overall. I don't want that. I want for the markets just to move slowly and move normal, because that's where you're able to actually enter a logical trade, let it ride for 2-3 days, and there's none of these major liquidity grabs that are just taking you out. And you could be right about the direction and right about the trade, but these wicks would just take you out. And it makes you a little bit frustrated because the trade is playing out, but you're just getting liquidity grabbed out of the position.
And one of your key rules is never trade against the trend, right?
Never trade against, bro, the trend is your friend. If you're not trading with the trend, you're just gonna have a very hard time trading.
Yeah. So don't short in a bull run.
Never.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it because I don't care, right? But like, I don't recommend for people to do it.
I think you've got to know your risk appetite and know what your backing is in your other accounts before you go start doing these plays.
For sure.
I've seen some people short during bull markets on pullbacks and stuff and make lots of money. But I think it takes a lot of kahunas to do it because you're talking about risking a lot of money.
Yeah. Like that's something that I like doing and I feel comfortable with doing, and not everybody can do that. But I do agree there is a great. I mean, if something is super high, it's well overdue a retracement. I'm going to take those retracement trades. Are those the logical trades to take? No. But there's a high probability of that happening just because the market has to create those retracements.
What time frame what should people trade in? What time frame?
It depends the type of trader you want to be. If you want to be a day trader, swing trader, you should be in between the weekly, daily, 4 hour. If you want to be kind of a day trader scalper, you want to be in daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute. It depends the approach you have. I like to say that the higher the time frame, the more respected. It's just the truth. It's like if you were to have a stronger build to something. The daily and the weekly, for it to move, it's going to think about it a lot more versus the 15 minute. It takes 15 minutes for one candlestick to be made. it takes a whole entire week for one candlestick to be made. The higher time frames are better for stronger positions.
I mean, I watch guys like, I don't know if you call him a trader, but like Julian Petroulis, who'll take a trade, say Tesla. He'll obviously it's in stocks. He'll look at the balance sheet. He'll look what they're doing. He'll know when the earnings data is coming out. He'll take the trade. He'll take it for 3 or 4 or 5 months. You know what I mean? And then he'll sell out when he's quite convicted. And I've seen him make tens of millions doing it.
Yeah, I mean, these are more of position traders, and these position traders, they're also looking at fundamentals, looking at earnings. I don't look at any of that. I just look at the chart. I don't care about fundamentals at all.
So you only trade off the patterns of the chart?
Only off of what the market is showing me in front of me at that moment.
So what are the key names of the patterns that you study and look at and look to implement on the chart?
For me, it's just strictly market structure. I need to understand if the structure is bullish or if the structure is bearish. If it's bullish, it's heading up. If it's bearish, it's heading down. That's all I look for. If the majority of the time frames, if the structure is heading up, I'm buying. If I look at the structure and the majority of the time frames are heading down, I'm selling. All I look at is what is the market doing? Is it going up or is it going down on all the higher time frames? And whatever it's doing, I just follow it.
But if you're managing risk correctly and you've got a big enough account for what you're putting on, and you can afford to wait, how could you ever realistically lose? You could lose less trades, right? Because you could wait a longer period of time to make sure that those trades are profitable.
Yeah, you can have bigger stops, you can have longer take profits, but I will make more money on the short term and long term leverage trading these day trades. They'll just make me more money. Like I can make 20-25% in a month easily.
What used to happen with me is when I used to trade years ago. I realized now from even just talking to you and observing from my friends over the years, that I realized I was trading too much, because I was profitable when I was trading smaller amounts of trades. But then as soon as I started to trade more volume and that, then I started to get smacked around and started to lose, right? But one of the things that used to piss me off was I used to have to pay an overnight fee for keeping a trade on. But so I'd have to you have to balance up whether it's worth paying the overnight fee or whether worth you closing the trade. So why are there these overnight fees on these accounts?
Because it's just the cost of doing business. It's just the cost of holding that position overnight. It's what the broker's going to charge you. It's what the platform is. Swap, commission, spread. These things are inevitable. It's the fee. It's the cost of doing business. And I hate it. Trust me, there's some times where I've held trades for like 4 or 5 days, and it'll take 10-15% off of my profit.
Yeah.
Does that suck? Yeah, but it's like, whatever. I'll take the 85% of the trade that I made. Sure.
Yeah, it's one thing I couldn't figure out, like why. I mean, I get why it's profitable for them, and like, but this does not help me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't help us as traders, but it's the cost. I've tried to figure out ways how to go around it, maybe closing or re-entering. But as soon as I close a trade and I re-enter another one, I'm entering a whole new trade. It's not the same one as before. I treat every single trade that I enter uniquely, and I'm like, it's not worth saving 10-15% on the trade.
But say you close the trade and you close out in a profit, and you go and enter this new trade, but without doing it against your fundamentals, you're just chasing the market again.
You're chasing the trade. You're not taking the logical setup that you had taken previously. You're just predicting that you're going to keep it's just going to keep following whatever you're saying.
Yeah, because you can't treat this new trade that you've just put on as the same one that just made a profit, even though it was literally like a minute ago.
It's a completely different trade.
I think that's where a lot of people lose money.
Yeah.
I've certainly done that as well. Like, I'm talking small account, few $1,000s here and few $1,000s there, but I was just trying to learn how the chart setup is. I got smacked a few times trading against the market, thinking it's going to come down. You know what I mean? Like, and the next thing you know, green, and you're just watching all of your money go. Like, it's exhilarating to see how fast you can evaporate money in these markets.
I mean, you could also make it
as fast, which is a beautiful thing. But what is the next move for you? Because obviously you're not going to be a trader your whole life, or are you going to be a trader your whole life?
The way I see it is, the longer I continue to trade, the less I want to trade. But when I do trade, I trade big. So I don't think I'm going to ever stop trading, because it's like a skill set that I've learned. It doesn't take much time out of my day and makes me really good money. And I've created a system where I really deeply understand this without having to put a lot of time into it. So I don't think I'm going to be as on top of it as I am now. I do it now because social media, a lot of people look up to me, and I have just passion for teaching people and putting it out there. it's like a flex. You know, I love, like, whenever I post a story, 200,000 people are seeing it. I'm like, yo, the market's gonna go from here to here. And 200,000 people just saw that. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it kind of like motivates me to keep doing that right now. But I think as time continues to go on, I'm just gonna trade for me. And I'm just gonna make one good trade every week, every other week, and that's it. So I'm gonna trade less, but when I do trade, I'm gonna risk a shit ton on that trade.
Well, trading is the most profitable area to be like to build any kind of personal brand online when you think about it, because you've got all the back end deals you can do with platforms. You've got, you know, you can sell education on it, on how you do it. You can also print, and then you can also do lifestyle content on the back of it. So it's like the perfect vehicle for, like, you know, that's why there's a lot of people in this industry that, you know, take the piss, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they go and get all this money, and then they use the lifestyle to sell something, and they're perhaps not even trading.
No.
You know?
Like, maybe they just got lucky in a period of 3-4 months, and they're just content maximizing that period right there.
How do you balance it though? Because obviously you live a very big life. The jets, you got the houses. I saw you smashing through the house with Mike the other week.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah. I'm like, you know, you got Mike running through windows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are you keeping yourself on a level so that you can still operate? You know what I mean?
I mean, I would say that I like having fun, and I know when to have fun. And since I don't have to be involved every single day in the markets, I can tell right in the morning if I'm going to be involved for the rest of the day or if I'm not. I wake up every single day, 8:30 in the morning. And by 10:30 in the morning, I know if I'm going to be in the market or not. If I am, I stay until about 1 in the afternoon. If I'm not looking at the market again until almost midnight. So I have the whole entire day to do whatever I want, to go have fun, to go create new content, to go and smash Mike through a window. Like, I'm able to go do so much because I know when I need to be involved in the market, and I know when I don't. Every single day for this last week that just went by, after 10 o'clock in the morning, I can literally turn off my computer trading wise and not have to look at it until midnight of that following day.
But I imagine the early days of your life when you're trading, you had less distractions between when you wake up and get out of that bed to when you walk to that screen.
Yeah.
Now, between you waking up at 8:30 in the morning and you walk into that screen, you've got Latinas, you've got Bugatti, you've got all the distractions and all the exotics that you can imagine between you and that computer screen where you can trade. Yeah. How do you even get to the computer screen?
I prioritize my work very much, and I'm very passionate for what I do, and my work comes first over anything. And I always say, if I let this get to my head where I'm the shit, I'm gonna lose everything. Yeah. So I always prioritize my work because I know my work is gonna continue giving me what I have, and I never lose that focus.
Do you think you lose everything in one move, or do you think you lose everything in a series of moves over a period of time?
Yeah, the way I've set up things for the last 2 years, I would literally have to become a drug addict and become loony for 5 years for me to lose everything, and never work a day again in my life for me to lose everything. The odds of that happening is basically impossible. I don't do drugs. I barely ever drink. So I've set myself in a way where I don't ever have to move a finger again. Like right now, I can live the same lifestyle without trading, without posting content anymore for the next 15 years. Like, I've really set myself up. I've invested diversively in many different things. And I've done that strategically because I don't know if the market's going to go through another COVID, if it's going to go through another tariff talk. And I don't want to depend from the market to continuously make money. Like, whatever I post that I'm flexing jets, cars, like, this is a very small portion of what I have, because I don't ever want to be in a position where I can't continue to have this. And I don't want to have it for just a period of time.
What's your breakdown though? Like 10% real estate?
Yeah.
Like, give me a breakdown.
So it's a 30-30-30-10 rule. So out of 100% of my income, 30% of it I save, mandatory. 30% of it I mandatory go to residual expenses, whether it's team, whether it's mortgages, whether it's just bills, cars, insurances, lawsuits, all this shit. 30% I have to mandatory reinvest into something. I love that. Mandatory reinvest. If you're not investing your money, you're not growing your money. I can only save it so much without it doing anything. So I save 30%. I put 30% into my residual expenses. I put 30% into mandatory investing, whether it's creating just a portfolio for crypto, waiting for the right entry, either buying real estate. I'm pretty heavily into real estate right now, watches, cars. Get the money out of the bank account. Don't leave it in there. Put it into something else just so you don't have access to it, and it makes you be more strategic with what you have. And then 10% I just splurge.
Do you count like content as an investment? Because
Content
obviously it brings you eyeballs, brings you money, brings you
content is 70% of what I would invest into.
Right.
My face, my brand, who I associate myself with has no price tag.
If you were going to proportion it like in percentage terms, how much more have you made off education compared to trading?
It really varies. For example, last week, since I made no money from trading, I made all the money from education. I made all the money from technology. I made all the money from real estate. I made all the money from other stuff because I didn't trade last week. The week before, when I made, what was like $400,000, I say it's like 70% because I made a lot of money from trading, and then everything else just does whatever it does. When I lose $800,000 in a month, I lose money in that month, and then I make money from all these other different avenues. So it really depends on how I'm doing in the market at that time, because it's been very up and down lately.
Do you think now, just to cut through on like the Instagrams, the TikToks of the world, the YouTubes like you are, do you think you have to have this exotic lifestyle to be able to have this content, to be able to market trading, to be able to get people into your course and all this kind of stuff?
So it depends the approach you want to take. For me, my approach is this crazy kid living this lavish lifestyle, because that's just generally how I am. Like I really, like I can show you pictures of me in high school. Like I was exactly how I am right now. I got kicked out of high school. Like this is really how I am. But if you want to create a personal brand and you want to attract the community, I'd say is don't try and be a replica version or a wannabe version of somebody. Because people are going to be able to tell the difference, and it's not going to come off as authentic, and it's going to be very hard for you to create content and to be very consistent with it. The reason why for me I'm very consistent is because I'm just being me 24/7. We just happen to have a camera right there. Like I'm not doing anything new for the camera. I'm just capturing the moment. And a lot of people, they create the moment and it doesn't look captured, it doesn't look real. So if you're going to create a personal brand, whether you want to create a community, you want to do whatever, make it as genuine as you can for you. And there is a niche of people out there that will cater to you, and it will be more genuine to you. You're going to be able to create more content as you. It's going to be more original and more real. The best example is this guy, Sam, whatever, the big bodybuilder. What's his name?
Sam Sulek.
Sam Sulek. Dude, I would hate to watch that guy's video. That shit is boring to me. The guy's just sitting there and just talking. You can't even like see his face. It's very like underground vibe. The dude blew up. He has a specific niche. There's a audience that caters to that. If I wanted to do that right now, it won't work because it's not authentic to me. I can't do what he does. It's not my vibe, and he can't do what I do. So if you want to go create a personal brand, you want to go out there and market whatever, be as genuine as you can so it doesn't become work. It just becomes your life being captured and you just putting it out there.
Yeah. Quick one for you guys. As you're aware, in 2017, I set up contentremoval.com with the main aim of protecting brands from negative online content. So if you're an entrepreneur, a personal brand, or a brand online that's affected by negative online content and you're looking to remove images, videos, search results, fake accounts, or anything else online, go to contentremoval.com. I mean, something I'm trying to curate for myself at the minute is like, okay, which pillars of my life do I want to show the world? And then I want to create it off the back of that. Like for me, you know, it's boxing, it's the fitness, it's the podcasting, it's the traveling, it's the, you know what I mean? Just putting all the pillars together. Did you make a kind of a plan before you stepped out in the way that you are stepping out now?
I was very hesitant to putting everything out there like that. I didn't really want to do that. It's kind of a bit of, you know, invasion of privacy. But once you start seeing how many people you start motivating and the benefits that you reap from it, I'm like, you know what? Fuck privacy. I think this is just so much cooler to be as transparent as you possibly can be. It's like now, like some people know more about me or remember things about me that I don't even remember. Like you just reminded me of the mic thing. I forgot about that. Like that was like gone to me. You know, it was just like a moment thing and that's it. It's gone. Like it's not a big deal. It's just, I was just living my life and it got captured and that's it.
When you're riding down the road and you got Mike in the back of the truck, people are going, this is so unsafe. I'm like, bro, just relax.
You know, I will agree in the part where we were shooting the guns, I could have had a little bit more gun control fine. But like I've been trained for like the last 2 years to go shoot guns. Like we had everything very separate. I only had I know exactly how many bullets were in the, like I already knew everything, you know. Right. But I got people in the comments.
Don't worry, bro. I want to come shoot guns with you now.
Yeah, we can do it.
It may be. I was like, how come I'm not shooting guns? How come I'm doing it in the studio? Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to shoot some stuff up, mate. Honestly.
Yeah.
But no, it's good that you've got that kind of flamboyant lifestyle, and like you say, you have to find that flavor for you. But did you actually make a content plan, or did you just go flamboyancy and then just scale it up?
I mean, yeah, obviously, whatever I'm doing, I then create strategies on how to mass put that out there. I have plans on whatever is being captured. How do we maximize that? Of course, yeah. Whatever's being captured, whatever's going on, we create multiple different ways on how to put that mass produced everywhere.
What's the best ways that you found?
So the first thing is going to be, you need a story. There has to be a reason why you're going to do something, right? So Mike's in Miami and Mike wants has a good time. I got a good time for Mike, right? Mike, you look like you want to rage. I have a place where you can go destroy something. So like, you have to give it a story. You have to give it a twist to everything for it to make sense. Mike, you've never shot guns, right? He's like, nah, dude, there's no guns in Dubai. There's no guns in London. I'm like, I got you. I got all the guns in the world. Yo, Mike, have you ever been, what else did we do? Drifting. He's like, bro, I've never drifted. Boom. Like, you have to create a storyline to everything. So everything kind of connects. After everything connects, then you just make it look genuine on your page without it look like you just want to upload something. And then you just clip it and put it everywhere. I have probably 75 different short form accounts that just get everything and clip it and just are constantly posting it.
Do you own all of your short form accounts, or did you operate like a Tate did, where he spread it across thousands of other accounts? Yeah,
I own every single one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's others out there that are just fan pages that they create them, but 75 that we manage and we do content on, it's all ours. Yeah. We have our own editors on everything.
Do you find it better to be able to control your own pages?
Yeah, of course, because you upload what you want, you upload it how you want, you're as consistent as you want, it's your editing style, it gives the message that you want to give. Some of these editors that you could just subcontract and pay them off of views, it's not what you would want maybe, and they don't do it as passionate, as consistent as you do. Is it more expensive? Is it more expensive the way I do it? Sure, but it just works more.
Yeah.
It's harder to build.
You get higher value content, don't you? And I suppose you have a set content guideline on what they create, even down to like the color palette of the LUT and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It just, I suppose controlling your own narratives, you can drive your own traffic from different accounts and test certain metrics. Yeah. But when you come to like building up accounts like that, what are you kind of looking for when it comes to like these editors? Like, what's good versus bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to be involved in that part. Lately, I haven't been really involved in it. I have one guy that overlooks that whole entire department. Like, we're uploading probably, I don't know, like 120 pieces of content every single day, and he watches every single clip before it goes out.
Yeah.
I would just say it just has to fall in who Alex G is.
But you say like 60, 70 accounts, right? Yeah. Where are those 60, 70 accounts? Are they across all platforms or
no, it's 70 on Instagram, 70 on TikTok, 70 on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're having like...
And where are you finding the most results at the minute?
I mean, it really varies. I'd say it's just equal. Like whatever content works. So we have a strategy, right? Where we have 3 accounts, 4 accounts, which is whatever clips work on all of these accounts, we upload those viral clips on these specific accounts. So on this account, we only upload viral clips that have already gone viral because it's a proven concept. You can upload 10, they'll get 20, 30, 40,000 views, but one will get 10 million. That one that gets 10 million, we just upload on one specific account.
No edits?
No, the same exact reel, we'll just re-upload it on a different account. Maybe we'll flip it, or maybe just change a couple of texts so the algorithm detects as something different. But it's a proven concept that works. And then there's just one whole Instagram account that is just full of viral reels. And then you just repurpose the same exact content that works. So in terms of which platform works the best, I'd say it's just equally as a whole. But whatever works on Instagram, we just replicate it on a different account. Whatever works on TikTok, we replicate it on a different account. Whatever works on YouTube, we replicate it on a different account with just that specific viral content.
Right, so the structures are different for the different pieces of content on Shorts, TikTok.
No, it's the same clip. Like one clip that goes viral on Instagram doesn't go viral on TikTok. And one that goes viral on TikTok won't go viral on YouTube. It's the same video, we're just uploading on all 3 platforms. But whichever one goes viral on each platform will create a unique account that then will upload that viral clip only on that account. And it 8 out of 10 times goes re-viral again.
I've also seen these accounts that upload the same clip over and over again.
If it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's a proven concept and it's getting views, maximize as much as you could.
Right.
Like, why would you try and reinvent that? Just keep it going.
We've done that with quite a few of our podcast clips. If they get like 3.1 million or something like that, we'll just repost it, re-edit a little bit of structure on it, and just repost it again and again and again. I think from one clip where someone's talking about peanut butter, it causes so much arguments in the comments. I think we've already had like 9 million views out of that, like, you know, across 3 clips.
What? You just keep it going. There's no reason to change that.
Yeah. But one of my video guys says to me, but Frankie, like, that doesn't build brand, that just builds.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So how are you balancing building brand and bringing in mass eyeballs?
Because the mass eyeballs are just eyeballs. You get enough of these people that watch you, they're gonna get curious on who you are. Then they end up going to your main page. And that's where you then go build the brand with you living your life however you live it.
Right. Okay.
The person that I'm on these clip accounts is not the same person that I am on my main account. It's just 2 completely different things. Once they get to the main account or my main YouTube channel, they're supposed to just either like me for who I am or they don't. I do the mass clipping and the mass unique content creating for people to watch that. If they like it, then they look deeper into it. I don't want everybody to just go to the main one. It's like, if you like me and you see yourself understanding how I understand things, then you can go to my main account. If not, don't.
So these clip accounts, they're not trying to, they don't have like a link in the bio to send the traffic out to a page. No. They just send the traffic straight back to the main account on that platform.
No, they take it back to whatever page is posting it, just to that page. It doesn't go back to my main Instagram account. No.
It doesn't even have like your main Instagram account in the bio.
No call to action, no lead grabbing, nothing. These are just clip accounts. And if you see enough of these clips and you're curious on who I am, you'll figure out how to find me. That's the best quality lead and the type of person that you want.
So these accounts don't even follow you?
No, they follow me. Yeah, they follow me and they follow each other.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So there is a lead. There is a lead.
There is a minor thing in there. Yeah, but it's not. I don't know. It's not that deep.
But you're not trying to actively sell on these accounts. You're funneling traffic back to the main account. Yeah. It's similar to what your man Gazzy does, isn't it? Like, he doesn't post anything massively on his major account. It might post once every 7 days, but you know, he's got clip accounts, thousands of them, just funneling up content, just cutting it and churning it up and putting it everywhere. Yeah. It is literally the future. But what's next for you, like, in terms of investments? I know you're making investments into like cigars and stuff like that. Like, what's these other businesses you're going into? Yeah,
the main thing for me that's coming up is going to be real estate. I'm going pretty deep into the developing. So very recently, like, I haven't really talked about this, but very recently I bought about 2.5 acres in a very prestige area here in Miami, Horse Country. Not sure if you know where that area is, but there's 2.5 acres. I paid $3.5 million just for the dirt, which is, there's some old houses on it. I'm going to demolish them, and I'm going to build a house. It'll probably cost me, you know, everything all in, probably like $7-8 million, including the land. And the house is going to probably be worth like $17-18 million. And I'm going to get into the developing of real estate, because I think for the content, it's super cool. I think for like profit and loss, it's super cool. And it's just a different niche that I can get into that can probably turn into something very big. So I'm going really deep into real estate and just the construction and developing side of things. Not like cash flow, Grant Cardone style. I don't really like that style right now. I don't think it makes sense to tie up 10, 15, 20% of what a property is worth just to make a couple $100. And the way interest rates are set up right now, you're going to be negative on the cash flow, so it makes no sense. But when you're doing construction, you're building the property on 60 to 65 cents on the dollar. So there's always going to be a margin. The only problem with it is you got to know the right people in order to do it. And I happen to be very fortunate that I'm born and raised in Miami. So it's not like 90% of the people that are coming to Miami, they're just kind of figuring everything out here. Like, I have uncles that have been in construction 35 years. So I'm very well embedded into how to get done things with the city, how to get things done with construction workers, plumbers, electricians, AC guys, because my family, I have a big family that has a lot of workers, and they know all these different types of guys. So I happen to be very, very well, like, I'm very fortunate because of that. It's like if somebody comes to Miami to move here right now, they're not gonna have the same connections that I have just because I was born and raised here.
Yeah, and the Cubans are in all these different sectors as well. You know, 'cause obviously I didn't realize until I got here like how Cuban this place is.
Yeah,
Like it's like I think it's like 1 million Cubans.
yeah, like you'll go to some places and they won't speak English, bro. Like they're not gonna talk English.
I was in Little Haiti the other day, and I was walking around and I was like, this place is this is a different place, bro. It's just crazy, isn't it? Like how you can feel like you're in America, but also feel like everyone speaks Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is that as like. Would you say that most people around here speak Spanish more than they do English?
It depends on what types of Miami. You go to Brickell, everybody's American. You go to Coral Gables, you got like old school money. You go to Hialeah, no English. It's not happening. It's just
Hialeah's no English?
No such thing, brother. Like you could go to a bank. They're not going to speak English at a bank. It's just all Spanish. Yeah, Hialeah, there's no English. I mean, obviously there's some places, but you know, you go even like Kendall, no English, all Spanish.
I went to Chase Bank to set up my LLC's bank accounts the other day, and I started speaking, and she looks at me and she goes, "No español?"
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like absolutely not. Like, she's like, "Oh, you have to speak to him," and he was the only guy in the whole bank that spoke English.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What's your views on like Miami versus other parts of the world? I know you've extensively traveled. You've got people that would, in your position, would leave here, go to Puerto Rico. You've got people that would leave here and go to Dubai, this, that, and the other. What's your views? Because I know you've been to all these places. Like, I personally believe, and you tell me if you agree, I personally believe that this is the best place in the world to like make and expand and grow your wealth and everything.
Yeah, I think that the guys that leave, I just don't think they're educated enough. I think that they're just lacking connections and they're lacking research because, dude, we have billionaires that live here. And I can guarantee you billionaires that live here don't want to have to put up with all of the tax things that they have to do. There's different ways on how to have strategic tax strategies so you don't have to pay maximum of the taxes, right? There's write-offs. There's just different ways on how you can get more deductions. So people that leave to Dubai, people that leave to Puerto Rico, they just, I think, uneducated and not wanting to do that resource. And I was at one point gonna do it as well. I'm like, you know what? I have to leave to Dubai so I don't have to pay the high tax here. But I started thinking about it. I'm like, dude, there's people in the United States making billions, hundreds of millions of dollars. How do they do it? I'm sure there's different strategies how to do it. And that's where it kind of just got into me where Miami's the best spot to be right now. And if the problem is the taxes, you just either pay it or figure out a way how to strategically have better tax deductions and everything. It doesn't make sense to leave to a different country.
What net worth do you think where it starts to really matter what you do with taxes?
I'd say is once you start making probably over $1 million. If you make more than $1 million and you don't have your taxes set up right, you can lose all of it.
Yeah.
You can literally lose all of the money that you made.
Yeah. See, some people say 1 million, some people say 10, some people say 5. But I just think the opportunity in America is just mental.
Yeah, everything's here. You have good credit. You have good relationship with your bank. You're going to get access to more money than you know what to do with it. Obviously, if you have everything set up properly. Going to a different country and resetting all of that up does not make any sense. It's like you're basically starting from scratch again. If you've been building a history in America for the last 10 years of your life, 20 years of your adult life, why give that up to save 10% of an income? Just simply either make more money or have more expenses and deduct stuff and, you know, buy a jet, buy cars. Like, these are all business, corporate expenses that you can have.
Does it hurt your heart a little bit though when you send the IRS a 7-figure check?
Yeah, I've sent them a hefty amount of money and it does suck.
Yeah.
I'm buying a jet now. I'm gonna probably have a jet.
You're gonna buy a jet?
Yeah. I mean, I already have it. Like, it's already mine. I just have to like finish the paperwork.
What level of jet did you buy?
It's a Lear.
Right.
It's a very light jet. It's not a big one, but yeah, I already have a jet. I'm just finalizing.
Can we
everything.
podcast in it?
We could do a podcast in it.
Can we do the first podcast in that jet?
We could do a podcast in it. Yeah.
You agree on that?
Yeah, we could do it. Yeah.
You've heard that here. He's agreed on that. He's agreed.
Yeah,
because I've always wanted to do a podcast in the jet, right?
Yeah, we could do it.
And I was like, there's a guy in Australia called Adrian Portelli. I don't know if you know about him. He's a billionaire, and he bought a jet, and I thought, I'd love to do a podcast in Adrian's jet.
Yeah, it's not a big jet. It's a light jet. It's like decent. It's a light jet.
How many people get on this jet?
8.
8.
Very comfortably, they can fit 8. It's not like you're cramped up in there.
And what's the distance it can fly?
Probably from Miami to deep into Texas. Depends on the winds.
Yeah.
And then from Vegas back, probably one shot. Depends on the winds. It really depends on the winds. That's a big factor.
So what was your thesis and reasoning? Because I'm sure you've worked it out on paper for buying a jet.
One, it's a big personal brand play, major personal brand play. There's not a lot of 24-year-olds out there with a jet. And secondly is for business. Like, I travel a lot and I fucking hate airports, bro. There's nothing more that I despise at an airport. I hate taking my shoes off. There's one thing, I can never be barefoot in my life unless I'm at the beach. I can't. I hate taking my shoes off at the TSA to walk through that fucking machine, bro. I literally cannot stand it. And I hate being there 3 hours early. I hate having to deal with everybody going in and out, sitting next. I just don't like the whole airport experience. For me, it makes traveling very bad. So one is that. So I love just going to the hangar whenever I want. You get on, I save time. I can travel with my whole team in one shot. I don't have to get 10 different airplane tickets when I travel with my team. Everybody just hops in. I'm on my own schedule. It's a lot more convenient than traveling commercial.
Yeah, I suppose eventually you'll have the Gulfstream and...
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is I'm 24 right now. I don't want to get the biggest jet that because I mean, this is a whole new area that I'm going into right now. I don't know how it works. And I wanted to make sure that it's something that I can manage and not put myself in an uncomfortable position. And I'm going to be able to like grow from this point. Not hit the max and then struggle here. So I know jets go into maintenance. I know they have routine checkups. And I want to first understand it at a more affordable point than just going to the big boy one.
How do you share a pilot with other planes? Or do you have your own pilot on standby all the time?
Yeah, so my jet is inside of a charter system. So there's like, my goal is that my jet does not ever touch the ground. I don't want to pay for my jet. I want for it to get chartered and for it to pay for itself. So there's different pilots that are going to rotate around that jet. Like, if I'm not using it, dude, send it out somewhere. Whoever's going to pay me 30, 40,000 for a round trip from here to Colombia and back, be my guest. You know, I do not want to pay the monthly note on the jet. I don't want to pay the pilots their $200,000-$300,000 salary a year. I don't want to pay out of pocket the $100,000 a year for the hangar spot. That's how money I'm burning. And if I can get at least, I've done the math. I think it was like 8 charters a month. It pays for itself. I'm just literally paying for fuel.
Yeah, and there's so many ways you can charter out a jet like that. You know, there's these pages on Instagram that do empty legs all the time.
Empty legs are a real thing. For me, the goal is for the jet to never be on the ground. Yeah. The more it's in the air, the more money I'm saving.
But then, even the YouTube video of you saying, "Hey, I've just bought a jet," that YouTube video, you know, with your back end monetization and your front end plus YouTube ads, should pay for first month of the jet anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive. Like, cause like first month, it's very expensive because you have to pay for the monthly. You have to pay for like all these guys' salary. Like the pre-inspection on it, it was like an extra 50 grand just for somebody to come with a clipboard and just make sure that everything is good. After we already made sure that it was good, it was another 50 grand just for somebody to be like, okay, it's good. And it's just constant shit.
But it's good though, because you just think of all the games that you're playing before you even got into your 30s.
Yeah,
you know, the experience and the stuff that you just can't buy this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like when I go to the hangar, usually it's like 40, 50-year-old guys that are there, and they see me walking in. They're like, "Dude, what the hell do you do?" Like, bro, it's a long story. I just do shit online, you know, because they won't understand. Some of them do, some of them don't. But I think it is kind of cool going to somewhere where I'm the youngest guy and I'm killing it.
What's the most common question the older guys that have made money ask you when you go into these hangars and stuff?
Yeah, is this whole trading thing real? Like, does it actually really make money? And I tell them it makes me enough to get this jet where I'm at right now. They just start laughing. Yeah. But yeah, they just don't understand it. These are guys that have big companies. They've sold. Some of them are doctors and they have firms, lawyers that have firms, just very corporate businesses. I've never met another trader in the space.
Yeah. What's one of the biggest things that you've learned this year?
One of the biggest things I've learned this year, I've learned a lot of patience. Patience, I've already had a lot of patience, but patience with people, patience with things that I would want for them to happen to me, for them not to happen right away. It's taught me to have more patience. Patience has probably been one of the biggest things that has made me stronger this year and has tested me a lot this year.
How are you balancing like the dating stuff when it comes to as you acquire more money?
Bro, the more money I get, the less women I want. Like, the less that I care about them, the more like they turn me off. Because I can tell what they want me for, and I just don't chase them. I don't entertain them. like I can meet a girl and within the first 5 minutes I'm like, all right, good, like I'm good. I'm just gonna take you home. Like I don't want to deal with this, or I'll catch the vibe that I'm cool. I just don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste her time or give her false hopes and give her like this illusion. But I'm not as out there as I thought I would be. The more money I would get, I think the more money I'd get, the more crazy I'd get. And I'm actually more conservative.
Yeah, this is one common trait that I've found as most men go through and attain more and more money. You have to get really, really sharp and really, really dialed, and you actually expose yourself to less of that than the more of it.
Yeah, and the majority of these Miami girls are retarded, bro. Like these girls are just dumb. You know, like I just don't want to deal with them.
What's some of the red flags that the men have got to worry about?
I mean, if the first thing that I see is when I go to the Instagram and, you know, they've traveled all the world, I'll just block them. You got to see how many people I've blocked. I've blocked like 3,000 people on Instagram. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I see that they've traveled, if they're always going out, like if they're at Kiki all the time, if they're at Live. Like, bro, we have nothing to talk about.
What are the nationalities to avoid?
All of them. Like there's always good and bad in all of them. So
no, but if there's some peak nationalities, what are they?
Oh, dude.
The Alex G peak nationalities to avoid, they are
probably Cubans for sure.
Cubans.
Yeah,
You say Cubans?
Maybe because I guess they're more toxic with me because I'm Cuban and they want to kind of, you know, control me because they feel like we're the same nationality.
I thought the Cubans were the wife ones. No,
there's it's a hit or miss. No. I haven't been able to find the right one yet.
Yeah, I have a saying in my life, and nothing costs you more than if you pick the wrong Latina. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I want to be a family guy. Don't get me wrong. I want to have 5-6 kids for sure. Like I want to have a big family. I want to, you know, have that traditional side of life. But I don't know when.
But you would have planned out an age for that to kind of start to.
I'm thinking 30s, you know, mid 30s.
You start in your mid 30s.
Start in my mid 30s, yeah. People that I see now with kids at this age, I feel like they're just adding more challenges to themselves. I think it's a blessing. I think it's great to have kids, but I think you're just adding a challenge to yourself at such a young age.
Yeah. I reckon ultimately you end up with the Cuban girls. Eh?
I mean, that'd be great, you know. My family would approve.
they say you go all around the world experiencing all the things, and then you come back to what you know.
Yeah.
They always say that.
I would hope. Yeah, it's hard out here. It's really hard out here, bro.
But yeah, in Miami especially, I think it's hard. But would you say Miami's harder than Dubai? Because obviously you've been to Dubai.
Yeah, but Dubai, when I went to Dubai, I would say I didn't have the best experience. I went during summer, and during summer there's no one there. It's like a ghost town. Yeah. So I didn't really get the best experience, but I've heard about Dubai stories. Yeah. But I out of all the places that I've been, one of the coolest places I've ever been to was Cape Town, South Africa. It's one of my favorite spots to just go. The vibes there are just different. And Ibiza, but to live would definitely be Miami and just do. I mean, I'm also from here, so you could throw me anywhere in Miami. I know how to get my way around there. I was born and raised here.
No, this is the best place. I went to LA once and stayed there for 6 weeks. And
no, it's not.
It's not the place. It's not the place. There's nowhere else that I've been in America that's like this. Mm-hmm. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? But you've just got to come here with the let's just make money and get shit done mentality. Mm-hmm. You know, otherwise you're kind of in a losing battle. Yeah,
you can get lost in the scene. It depends what kind of person you are. If you know you're a party guy, if you're like going out, you know, Miami will eat you up on that sense. But I think the last time I went out was 6 months ago here. I think the last time I went to a club was a year ago. I just don't go out. Like that's just who I am. And some people kind of get lost in the scene. Like, if you want to come here and you want to work, you could be in the Brick or you could be in the Midtown, but you don't have to go out. Like no one's forcing you to do it. You're just prioritizing that at that moment.
Walk me through some of these other businesses that you've built, because I know you've got a cigar thing coming, and I know you've invested in like fitness apps and stuff like that. Like walk me through some of these investments and how you're expanding the portfolio.
Yeah, so I have a lot of technology companies in the trading space. So we have all of the data from the traders, from the retail traders, from the prop side. We have one of the mass technology collectors of all of that. And we sell that to brokers. We sell that to guys that create strategies around that. But within that, there's like 3 different platforms. So there's the dashboard side of it. There's the liquidity side of it. There's the connection. So there's an integration to connect the retail trader to the dashboard, which is a kind of code that you have to custom create. I didn't create it. My team created it, and I just happened to be involved with them. And all of that, we collect fees from everywhere. We collect fees from recurring, from active accounts. We collect fees for just monthly retainers that you have to have with us open. So a lot of the technology side of things has made me a lot of passive money without really having to do any more stuff, and it's very cool. I've also looking to invest a lot into real estate right now. That's one of the main things. I have the cigar brand, which I actually have, but I've never launched. It's just me and my friends' brand.
Why haven't you launched it?
Because there's
It's your heritage, man.
Yeah, there's a really big import-export thing, and we haven't figured that out. How to get the cigars out of Dominican Republic into different countries the right way. You know, we can get, I think it's 10 boxes a day with just a regular person on a flight, but start shipping them out from actual cargoes and stuff, we haven't figured, and I haven't really prioritized.
The big tariffs on cigars.
I haven't really thought about it. I know there's a problem with it. Like there's a way to do it, but I just haven't entertained it. We've done the numbers. It's not gonna make us enough money. It's more of like a passion project rather than actually a profit project. We were gonna do a fitness app, but the fitness app, we didn't really end up doing it because, you know, we're not really into fitness, and we feel like it was gonna burn our audience a little bit, and we're just giving them too many different things when the profitability would just make more sense if we keep it into trading. And we kind of didn't end up doing that. And then I have just my coaching, which is just teaching people how to trade. And this is a huge business, obviously, and with that alone, it consumes 70% of the time that I have to teach people how to trade, just constantly finding ways how to provide value. Yeah. Obviously, very lucrative business, and there's many different benefits from it, but it's also very time consuming because every single time somebody comes into trading, they're at a different level. And having to analyze where they are and getting them from level 1 to 3 or from 3 to 5, it's very time consuming, but it's part of my passion.
All of the successful traders that I know, they all have an educational business that makes them a vast amount of capital on the back end.
Yes.
The only thing you have to be able to get over is the fact of like, people are going to call you a scammer. People are going to come after you. How did you kind of get your mind around that bit?
I mean, I don't tell you to go buy my course. You don't have to buy my course. I recommend people not to buy my course. Do not buy my course. Don't buy it. If you buy it, you buy it. Don't call me a scammer because I'm telling you not to buy it. The reason I have it there is because so many people ask me for it that I created something for those people, and those people are very happy with it. I'm very happy with them, and they're very happy with the results. Don't call me a scammer because I'm giving somebody what they want. Yeah. I'd be a scammer if I tell you, hey, I'm going to give you this watch. Give me this money. I'm going to give you this watch. I get your money and I never give you anything. But if you say, hey, give me a watch, I'll give you the money, and I give you the watch, and you get the watch and you don't like it, well, I'm not a scammer. You just don't happen to like the watch. Like, that's not my problem. So there's some people that end up joining and they don't like it. We just give them the refund. We give them their money back. But then they kind of go on this whole scammer thing.
But did you know that this was coming down the track when you started? Like, or had you preempted it, or?
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be such a big culture. You know, hate culture is a big thing, and I didn't think it was going to be what it is. And I have gotten obviously some hate from being a profitable business coach, right? Like, it's very lucrative, and it always happens to be the smaller guys that aren't as lucrative that end up hating. And ultimately, they also have a product, and they're just, you know, kind of view grabbing using somebody's
using
name.
Your name.
Yeah, someone's like, we go to these guys' channels, they upload 10 videos, they all get 500 views, 1,000 views, but they get a video, Alex G Scammer, 50,000 views. Obviously, it makes sense to them because that video made them more AdSense, got them more traffic to their course. If I was in a position like them, I would not do that because that's not the type of person that I am. But being in a position like that, I can understand where somebody could do that in a form of desperation and just seeking attention.
Yeah, because I actually built a course out for my audience back in June last year. I've still not even released it because I'm like, you know, even though I know it's going to help people, I'm like, but do I really want to be the scammer guy?
Why are you going to care about somebody's opinion? Like, you can change somebody's life completely.
Yeah.
You creating that course can change the course of somebody's life on a 180. Yeah. Why are you going to let one person that doesn't want you to make $1,500 off of selling your knowledge?
I have a mate in Australia who did really well out of selling courses and helped a lot of people as well. But he said to me, look, just sit on it a little bit and actually think about whether you want to start in the education space, because you just be prepared that people will start coming after you as soon as you start doing that.
That's fine.
But I suppose I've got to.
I would take the approach like, if you want it, it's there. If you don't, don't.
I think that's what I'm going to put it in the bio and then don't talk about it. I'll mention it every now and again, but not go on the hard sell. You know,
just literally be like, If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. If you don't like that I'm doing it, then
that's on you. Yeah,
that's on you. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much of an inner thing there was for me to overcome with that until I came to the point. When I was building it, I was fine. I was like, yeah, it's going to help people. It's going to do this, it's going to do that, this and that. And then one of my mates goes, yeah, but I sold courses for like 3 years. I changed this amount of lives. But you do realize that 90% of people that buy courses don't even watch them, and then they complain about you online. But they've not even. But when you log in and look at their data, they've not even watched the course.
Yeah.
But yet they're calling you a wanker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
So, and I suppose when you see the back end data of your open rates, like they buy it, right, and they think that buying it is the success, not the actual sit down and watch the stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with committing to it once they buy it. So we've created a strategy around that where it's like you don't unlock access to me, and you don't unlock access to a community until you don't watch the videos. Because you're not going to just start asking me questions if you haven't even watched the videos. So there's specific ways how you go about that. And sometimes like we'll just be like, hey, don't give us the full amount of money. Just give us 10% of it and watch this video first. If it makes sense for you, we'll give you access to the rest. Like you just have to create a system that caters to the client, basically.
What's your next piece of content that you're creating that's going to like blow it up on the internet?
Oh, I have some shit that's about to go crazy right now.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I have. When are you going to upload this?
Probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
Come on, don't hold back.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's the thing.
Yeah. Come on, drop it.
I'll tell you after.
No, drop it because we'll just release it later. Drop it. Yeah.
Well, we have an idea, right? So we have multiple ideas. One of the ideas that we have is I can make anybody into a 6-figure trader without them not knowing anything about trading. All you have to do is just click buy or sell once a day, not knowing anything about trading. Like I'm talking about.
That's a big statement, brother.
Like not knowing anything about trading. You just pull up to the computer and you decide what do you want to do. You want to buy or sell? Buy? Okay, click buy, leave. Come back tomorrow and do the same thing. And I can make somebody into a 6-figure trader by doing that, by not having any knowledge of trading, by only having a risk management strategy. If they have a proper risk management strategy with a profitable 1 to 3 risk to reward, they're just gonna make fucking money. Out of 10 trades that they take, let's say they lose 7 of those trades. Every single time they lose, it's -7. But every single time they win, it's +3. So you have 3, 6, 9. This person can have a 30% win rate, which is very low, and still be profitable because they just made back the 7 they lost +2. This person is going to approach the market, not know anything about trading, and they're going to make over 6 figures. All they need is just money. And that's where I'm going to come in, and I'm going to put the money up for them. But I'm going to create this whole content around this stranger that we're going to grab. It's going to be a real stranger, and we're just going to put this to this test. Stranger, we're going to pay you to just come here every single day and click buy or sell and leave. Come back the next day and do it again. We're going to do that over the course of 60 days, and you're going to see how he's going to make more money than 90% of people that are studying to learn how to trade. Why? Because people don't know how to properly manage money.
So you're going to teach him the system and teach him the rules first as well?
No. He's not going to do anything. He's just going to come and click buy or sell.
So he's just going to guess?
Yeah, he's just going to guess. Not even make a strategic or pre-analyzed guess. He's just going to click buy or sell.
So you're telling me that I could just put, say, 100 grand of my money into an account, just log in once a day at a random time or a predetermined time.
Yeah, in a session that the market has.
Yeah, in a session that the market has to offer. So a preset time, I click buy or sell, and then I walk away for how long?
To the next day. Come back the next day. But you need to have a stop loss. You need to have a take profit.
Right.
You have to.
Which is what? Which is
a 1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Yeah,
okay.
If you have a 1 to 3, you will make money after 10 trades. It's just math. You're not going to lose 10 trades in a row. It's not going to happen. And let's say you lose 8. You lose 8, and here you just make back 70% of what you did. You're going to win more than 30%. You can put it to the test.
So you really are.
I've done this.
You really are trying to take it to the point where it's literally just betting.
It is. Anybody can do this. So it's going to be a mass campaign on teaching anybody that a stranger can make money from trading with just having the proper risk management strategy.
Yeah.
And it's just purely content. And we're going to add more twists to it. I don't want to say all of it, but we're going to add a lot more twists to it.
Yeah, no, I can already see though that's going to go viral because people are going to hate in the comments, and which is pushing the virality because people are going, you can't do this, and then people are there's just arguments. So I like content that creates arguments because with arguments it pushes content, like the virality goes crazy when people could disagree, and this is something that's already got the disagreement built in. So like I want to tell the audience that because when you're talking about content, I see the disagreement you're already building in it, so that it pushes the content further. It just accentuates everything you're doing.
And that's just the initial idea, which is going to create the snowball effect for the next thing, which is the real big thing. If we're going to get a random stranger and make them rich, whatever they do, whatever they want. But then we're going to do something even bigger than that, which is probably like a 6-month thing. But we're kind of like finalizing the idea of that.
Yeah. And what other fancy stuff are you buying other than a jet?
I have the jet. I'm probably going... I just sold the pink Bugatti, so I just got rid of the pink one. I just have the purple one now. I'm probably going to maybe get a Pagani or something, another cool car. But I kind of like with the cars, I'm kind of like maxed out right now. And I'm probably going to build the drift car. So they're actually going to go pick it up Sunday, like a shell of this Miata. And I'll probably put an LS into it, full transmission, the whole nine. Yeah, I like having fun with it.
Yeah, he's probably sending it. You need to do some kind of trading whilst someone's trading, whilst you're on the back of a truck going through a shooting range, shooting some shit, blowing some shit. I mean, like you need to do something like that. I want to see that video. Like someone's got to press the button whilst guns are going off, whilst fucking rocket launchers shooting off the back of the thing. This is viral content. You got to Cuban it up a bit. It's not Cuban enough for me, bro. No. You better be Cuban, man. There's meant to be shit blowing up and wars happening and just that's the Cuban way, bro. Whilst people are smoking cigars, you got fucking Thurston hitting the buy or sell button. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mike's a cool guy. I built a pretty big network with all these cool guys over the last couple of months, which is really cool. Yeah,
talk to me about networking because you are an elite networker. I saw you on Instagram the other day with Aiden Ross, and people like that. You know Dana White, Steve will do it. How are you building networks with high net worth individuals and people that see the value in you, but also you can also communicate with them?
You would be surprised the amount of flaws and weak points that these big successful people have. And that's just your perfect way in. And I don't do it to capitalize off of something from them. I don't need anything from any of these guys. I think it's just cool knowing these guys. I think it's cool that I can call Aiden Ross right now on FaceTime and just talk shit. I think it's cool that I can call Steve and be like, yo, let's go play paddle. Because a lot of these big guys, they're used to being surrounded by yes men. People that are just saying yes to everything and just following the lead of whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying. And the problem with that is that then they're not used to realizing the things they're doing wrong. Even if they're doing something wrong, the yes men will say yes, which is the people all around them. And to somebody equally as successful as them, either publicly or dollar-wise, says, yo, that shit's fucking retarded. You should not be doing that. It kind of comes off in a different way. It's like, yo, like if you're going to do that, do it like this because it can affect you this way. And they appreciate that because it's like, wow, somebody that doesn't want anything from me is helping me out for me and pointing out something that I'm doing wrong. And I've figured out a way how to just analyze the problems in a lot of these big people and just help them. And I don't want nothing in return. I don't need anything in return. I don't ask for anything in return. I just want to be cool with other successful people outside of my circle because I feel like we're like-minded, and I'm not going to go into your circle by being a yes man because I'm not. I'm going to go into your circle by being as real as I can. I'm going to tell you your flaws, whether you like them or not. You could take that positively or negatively. And if you like that, you're going to appreciate me. And if you don't, you don't. There's been scenarios where I've pointed out some flaws or tried to help some of these successful people, and they don't like it because they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to accept it. And we don't end up being as cool as other people. And that's totally fine. I don't want to be cool with somebody that thinks it's okay to do things wrong and doesn't want to fix or help themselves. So with these other guys that, like Aiden Rosses, the Steves, like Steve the other day, I'm like, yo, Steve, bro, you gotta stop fucking smoking a cigarette in the car with the window down, with the window up. Put the fucking window down, bro. Like, you're hotboxing this shit with a cigarette, dude. Like, come on. Like, we're all choking in here, bro. He's like, bro, you're right. He puts it down. Like, it's just small shit like that it just comes off as a genuine thing. It's like, Steve, like, I don't think you should drink this fucking Red Bull before we're about to just like go to sleep or just do some church. Like, it just makes no sense, brother. He's like, you're right. You know, it's just like these random little stuff. Obviously, these are very minor examples. I do obviously different stuff, maybe financially and other stuff, but it's just things that where you got to just speak up and be the real person in the circle.
Yeah, I just want everyone to pick up on what you've just said, because throughout this whole interview, you've been talking about different topics and the way you look at things, and the key thread that's worked through the whole thing is like you analyze the markets, you analyze the connections and where they're at, you analyze where to invest your money, you analyze your content strategy and how to position yourself and how to create the story. So everything with you comes down to analysis right the way through the process. So your key skill, as far as I'm concerned, is the analysis. So if you guys want to implement what Alex is doing, look at the skill he's developed first. The core skill is to like look at where the puck is going and understand where the market is, any market, whatever you're going into, and then play it. You know, same way as you've just described there.
Yeah, I'm an extra analytical person. Like I will think 25 times and consult with 10 different people before I make a move.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable off of doing something like right off the bat. It just makes, I don't know, I get anxiety. I need to make sure that what I'm doing is 100% concrete. Like before I buy the Bugatti and I put down $2 million and I'm paying $70,000 a month, I created a whole year projection on what am I going to do with this Bugatti and how is it going to make me this money back. And even then, it still took me 2-3 months to buy the car before I actually made the move. Like this jet, I've been buying this jet for a year. I've been analyzing what type of jet, how much do I really travel, the cost around it. Can I build a network before I buy the jet? So when I have it, I already have people to charter it. Like the jet's already going to get chartered with my friends without me even having, like I've been chartering the jet before I even own it, just because the owner, I've been just sending them these friends that want to go from here to New York, from here to Atlanta, and they're just using it. So like before I get into something, it's 100% lock, guaranteed, zero risk before that decision.
Yeah, you try and remove the risk before you even enter the trade.
Yeah, there's just no reason why to be overexposed for no reason.
I know, and I really wanted people to really get that part of it, because when you're asking multiple questions about different avenues, people think it's about a different topic, but it's about the same topic. Yeah. The topic is understand the overarching strategy and then make the play. He's not just making plays into random fields. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like right now, I want to get into this new business, which is the catering business. Like these meal plans and stuff. I have no idea anything about this world, but I look at the risk. I'm like, all right, what the hell's the risk? Well, it's just the food that you would buy for that week, or the food that you would buy, or the bags, the chef that you'd pay. That's really it. There's no real risk around it. Maybe there's some extra risk that maybe the chef cooks the food a little undercooked and then somebody gets sick, maybe a minor lawsuit, whatever. But like there's no real risk associated with it. Before I even thought about the profits of it, I'm like, dude, you can just get right into this shit and it's just gonna make sense. Like you don't buy anything until you don't hire a client. Until you don't get a customer, like you don't hire anybody, you don't buy the food. So like it's technically paying for itself right off the bat. So that's I was also thinking of opening a gym, but I'm like, holy shit, a gym has a lot of risk. You need to sign a lease, invest into all this equipment, and then you got to hope you get people through the door. There's a lot of risk associated with that. So I didn't end up doing the gym. Like everything that I look to minimize the risk as much as I can.
Yeah, my mate's got a food prep business in Dubai, and the reason it does so well is because he knows the week ahead of the schedule how many meals they're doing, this, that, and the other. So you can order all the ingredients, get it all there. You're only cooking what you use. It's all prepaid. They pre-sell the slots. So you can make a business like that super profitable, rather than some of the businesses that run really in a rubbish manner, where they order a bulk amount of food, they cook a load of stuff, and then hope they can sell it.
And I believe in a business model that you don't have to get a new client to make more money.
Yeah.
Once you get one client for the meal prep, they have to fucking eat every day, right? Unless they're going on a fast, but they're gonna have to eat at one point, and they're just gonna, the same customer, whatever that acquisition costs to get that one customer, you keep getting that money back and back and back. It's just recurring money. I don't like businesses like clothing, for example. People don't need clothing, and the amount of times they're gonna buy clothing is gonna be a lot less than the times they eat food, and it's not a necessity. And once you sell somebody the shirt one time, the odds of them buying again are high, but you constantly have to look for getting another person for them to continue to spend money. Versus a meal prep company, for example, You get the customer one time, you give them good quality, give them very good service, they're going to keep buying, and you don't have to go look for a new client. So your return on investment on whatever it costs you to get that client is a lot higher than anything else, rather than you have to constantly get a new client.
Yeah. Always pick the model with a recurring basis.
Recurring, and just that one client can just continue to.
Because you can compound your clients. You can't do that if you're picking oneself in. Like one part of my business is a lumpy part where we do like content removal, and it might be a one-off scenario, and then we've got retained clients as well, which is good for cash flow, and then you can increase the saleability of your business when you come to sell it and exit it. Obviously, if you don't have the recurring model, the exit amount is drastically less, so it's way better to do it. I love to ask this question at the end of every podcast because it allows the guest to really summarize the conversation and their lessons and learnings. But if there's one piece of golden advice, one pearl of wisdom that you can drop on this audience that will move them 1% forward from today, your best piece of advice, what would that be?
I say it's be realistic with where you are right now, and be realistic with how you're going to get with where you want to go. Some people are not in the best financial situation and they want to become a millionaire this year. Be realistic. They say you're in debt, you don't know a skill set, you're not going to become a millionaire this year, even if you have the best mindset. Let's be realistic. You have to go out there and first get out of debt, create a system, and grow to where the point where you will be a millionaire. But a lot of people underestimate their potential because of their current situation. And I don't think that's what people should be doing in order to get where they want to be. So it's just be realistic with where you are right now, know who you are and what you're capable of, and then just start. Whatever it is that you want to do, just go out there and start. If you want to go out there and become a personal brand, just start posting and don't stop. The moment you start whatever you do, just don't fucking stop. I guarantee you do something long enough, even if you're shit at the beginning, you'll be good. Fast forward 6 months. So just realize where you are and just fucking start.
Yeah. And take away the judgment of self. Like similar to what I've mentioned on this podcast, creating that course, not releasing it. It's like, how many people could I have helped in the meantime? It's just you got to overcome that inner self.
Okay,
we all have a part of ourselves like that.
Bro, there's a negative comment, delete it. You're not going to let that affect the people that you can impact. Makes no sense.
I love that. And that, my friends, is Alex G. And you can catch his wild lifestyle. I'll put the links in the bio so you can catch his wild lifestyle on Instagram and everything else he's doing on YouTube. And I'm sure he's going to be doing some extra Cuban stuff that's going to be blowing some stuff up in the next few months, and it's going to be on YouTube. I'm going to encourage him to keep scaling the guns on his YouTube channel. I'm just going to encourage him to do that. But guys, I hope this one's added a lot of value to your life. I hope it's made you understand about how to structure and how to move your life forward, and how to plan and use that in every area of your life so that you can move yourself to a whole new level. And as always, guys, like and subscribe, share this with a friend. Much love.